Tánaiste, your replies both to Deputy Kenny and to myself yesterday and today are beginning to sound more and more like the chairman of the board of a club expressing full confidence in the manager. This time last year, I remember that the FAI were expressing full confidence in Steve Staunton while he retained the confidence of the fans and the players. Two things, Tánaiste, that you have said. First of all, you've commented both yesterday and again today about the length of time that the tribunal is taking. Well, one of the delays that the tribunal will now have to encounter is the legal challenge which has been mounted by the Taoiseach, which he claims is on the basis of protecting parliamentary privilege. It's not, of course. It's an attempt by the Taoiseach to buy time. So can I ask you, first of all, if you will ask the Taoiseach to withdraw his legal challenge to the workings of the tribunal so that they can conclude all of this business much more quickly than they will otherwise do, because it will take 6 to 9 months more for the tribunal to do its work if that legal challenge proceeds. Secondly, you also said yesterday, and again referred to it today, that the work of the tribunal, or that the Taoiseach's appearances at the tribunal and the embarrassment that he's suffering there and the consequences of that for government are not distracting from the work of government. Now, last autumn, we had the sad spectacle of a large number of women who were being recalled to a hospital in your own constituency because they were misdiagnosed. Turns out that 9 of them were misdiagnosed. 9 women who had been given the all clear. Turns out that they had cancer. On top of that, you had a woman in Galway who was twice given the all clear, and turned out she had cancer. It was a case of Rebecca O'Malley, who was misdiagnosed in Limerick. Now, we were promised reports on all of those cases, and those reports were to have been published before Christmas, to tell us what exactly happened and why they were misdiagnosed and what went wrong. The last time I asked the Taoiseach about it, he said that the report dealing with the Portlaoise case was going to be published before the end of February. We're now at the end of February. So is that report going to be published in the next day or two?
Finally.
Well, there are two issues arising from the Tánaiste's reply. The first is, it is perfectly clear that this whole issue of the tribunal and the Taoiseach is transfixing this government, and it's taking its attention away from the issues that affect the people. Last autumn, this country was scandalised by the problems that those women had and the sad situation that they were in, walking into a clinic on a Saturday morning to find out if they had cancer. And now that it's disappeared off the headlines, it's forgotten about. The report that was supposed to be produced by your Minister for Health has not been produced. It was promised for November. It wasn't delivered in November. It was then promised for the end of February. It's clear it's not going to be promised now. And when I ask you about it now, the only response you can give me is read something that has been pre-prepared for you in a script. Those women are entitled to get a response from it, and it's quite clear that government are not giving that the priority that it should get. And as for Mr. Ahern and his position, it is as clear to you as it is clear to every member on this side of the House, and I believe most of the members on your own side of the House, that Mr. Ahern's days as Taoiseach are numbered. And what matters now is not so much what you say. Willie, you needn't smile. You took an each bet on Sunday. You had 2 articles in last Sunday's Independent, one defending the Taoiseach and the other praising Minister Cowan. You can't go wrong. You can't lose. Tánaiste, everybody in this House, and I think the general public now know that the Taoiseach's days as Taoiseach are numbered. And the issue that has to be faced up to is whether his leaving office is going to be long and painful, or whether you are going to take some action. And what really matters now is not so much what you say as what action you're going to take. And the kind of half-hearted defence that you have been given and the kind of half-hearted support that you have been giving him over the last 2 days certainly doesn't fill me with a great deal of confidence that your support for him is going to continue. And the sooner you act and the sooner you gather around yourself a couple of your senior ministers, go knock on his door, tell him that the game is up and that this country needs to move on from the scandalous and embarrassing situation that he has placed this country in by his convoluted and unbelievable evidence that he's given before the tribunal, the better for all of us.